Two kings rule the roof of the world. Only one earns the title, Savage Mountain. One is a journey to the top, the other is a fight for your life. This is the difference. For K2, there is a statistic. 1 in every 4 climbers who go high does not come back. You don't just climb K2, you race through a vertical kill zone underneath a sword of hanging ice. One summit is a celebration, the other is a shock, because getting to the top is only halfway. Everest is height, K2 is climbing. They are not in the same league. So, what defines the greater achievement? The highest point on Earth or the hardest climb?
From the void of space, our blue planet hangs, serene and beautiful. And on its vast surface, in the heart of Asia, 2 titans stand above all others. This is Mount Everest, the roof of the world, a well-trodden path where organized lines of dreamers make their way toward the sky. It is the mountain everyone knows. But look just to the northwest. This is K2, a pyramid of pure, brutal intent. It is steeper, darker, and utterly empty. Where Everest is a journey, K2 feels like a confrontation. The contrast is absolute. On one side, a managed queue. On the other, a solitary fight against vertical ice. This visual isn't just about crowds, it's about the very nature of the challenge. And that challenge carries a chilling price. For K2, the statistics whisper a deadly secret. 1 in 4. 1 in every 4 people who set foot high on its slopes does not return. Imagine a team of 4. Statistically, only 3 are coming back. It's not just a mountain, it's a gamble with the highest stakes imaginable. So we are left with a question. 1 is the tallest, 1 is the deadliest. Which mountain represents the true, ultimate challenge? Let's start with the obvious. Everest is taller, by about the height of the Empire State Building, 8,849 meters versus 8,611. A clear win for Everest, on paper. But height isn't everything. Look at success. Tens of thousands have summited Everest. On K2, that number is in the hundreds. The summit is a far rarer prize. Why? It starts with the approach. For Everest, you fly into a bustling town. A scenic trek leads to a massive city-like base camp with internet and coffee shops. For K2, you embark on an expedition just to reach the expedition. A week-long trek over treacherous glaciers leads to a tiny, remote outpost. You are alone with the mountain from day one. Everest's most notorious hazard is the Khumbu Icefall, a chaotic maze of shifting house-sized ice blocks and bottomless crevasses, crossed on rickety ladders. The scale is horrifying. It's a collapsing city of ice, and climbers must move through it, exposed and slow, hoping it doesn't choose that moment to rearrange itself. Higher up, a different man-made danger emerges, the crowd. On a narrow ridge, the climb grinds to a halt. Climbers are forced to stand still, burning precious oxygen and strength in the death zone. That gauge is ticking down. Every minute spent waiting is a minute of life borrowed with a crushing debt to pay on the descent. The greatest danger on Everest can be the person in front of you. K2's terror is more direct. The bottleneck, a near vertical chute of ice funneling climbers underneath a monstrous overhang of unstable ice hundreds of feet tall. This sérac can collapse at any time, without warning, unleashing an avalanche that sweeps the entire bottleneck clean. There is no hiding. It is a lottery of ice and time. And the bottleneck is just one obstacle. Much of K2 is like the Black Pyramid, sheer rock and ice requiring technical climbing skills, all at an altitude where the simplest move is a battle. Then there's the weather. While Everest has seasonal windows, K2 is besieged by the jet stream. Vicious storms can roar in and trap climbers for weeks. This is the grueling reality, huddled in a shaking tent, watching supplies dwindle, fighting boredom and fear, waiting for a chance that may never come. So when the weather does break, there is no time for cues. It is a desperate all-or-nothing sprint for the summit, knowing the storm will return. On Everest's summit, there is camaraderie. Exhaustion, yes, but joy. a photo with a flag shared with others who made it, a collective triumph. On K2's summit, there is often only shock, a deep, solitary realization of what you've done, and the terrifying knowledge that you are only halfway. There are no celebrations here. The climber looks back. The route down is even more terrifying. Fatigue is absolute. The mountain's most dangerous game is just beginning. The summit was the offer. The descent is the collection. As the legendary climber says, on Everest you can make a mistake. On K2, a mistake makes you. In the end, Everest is the ultimate test of patience and logistics. But K2 remains the ultimate test of skill, nerve, and the raw will to survive. To understand Everest, you must enter the Khumbu Icefall, a silent blue cathedral of ice perpetually on the verge of collapse. From the side, the scale is terrifying, a city of ice with ant-like climbers threading through a deadly maze. It is beautiful, and it is a trap. It moves because it must. The glacier is a river of ice flowing inexorably downhill. It cracks, tumbles, and reforms every single day. The human cost is etched in history and stone. Past collapses have taken lives, remembered on memorials at base camp. The ice is indifferent. K2's answer to the icefall is the bottleneck, a near vertical funnel of blue ice where a climber is exposed, vulnerable, and utterly committed. And above them, the sword, a monstrous overhang of fractured ice, poised to fall. The climber's world is defined by what hangs over their head. In 2008, it fell. The sérac collapsed, severing the fixed ropes. 11 climbers trapped above the devastation were lost. The bottleneck's danger is not theoretical. The desperate calls from that day tell the story. The ropes are gone. We are cut off. They were stranded by the mountain's wrath. The contrast in steepness is geometric. Everest has long, sloping snowfields. K2 is a series of vertical walls. The angle of attack is fundamentally different. This is not hiking. This is climbing. At 7,500 meters, every move is a fight for purchase. Every breath a struggle for purchase. It is athleticism at the edge of viability. The weather is not bad luck. It is geography. The jet stream, a river of screaming wind, is funneled directly into the Karakoram, making K2 a perpetual storm magnet. So you sit and you wait. Days blur together in a tent that feels like it will tear apart. The storm on the map becomes a storm in your mind. The Everest team is often a large guided operation. A leader coordinates clients and a small army of support staff. It is a structured enterprise. The K2 team is a small, self-reliant unit, a handful of elite climbers, each an expert, working in sync. There are no passengers here. The cost of Everest is measured in dollars, logistics, and tons of gear. It is a massive financial and operational undertaking. The cost of K2 is measured in skill, self-sufficiency, and mental fortitude. Your gear is what you carry. Your team is your only backup. Summit day on Everest is a procession of light, a slow-moving river of headlamps inching upward in the darkness, each person tied to the pace of the crowd. Summit day on K2 is a solitary dash, a few pinpricks of light moving with purpose through an immense empty blackness. You set your own pace and your own fate. On Everest, turning back is a decision made with support. A guide can advise, a team can assist the retreat, the system can protect you from yourself. On K2, the point of no return comes early. Looking down from the bottleneck, the descent is as technically difficult and dangerous as the ascent. Going back is often not the safer choice. This underpins everything. The climber's creed. Getting to the top is optional. Getting down is mandatory. And on K2, the mandatory descent is where reserves are gone. It is a staggering, mindless stumble back to safety, where every step is a victory. Those who have done both hold a clear opinion. K2 is in a different league altogether. It is the ultimate test. The final analogy. One is a crowded highway to a high point. The other is a lone tightrope up a cliff. Perhaps they are not just rivals, but teachers, each offering a different lesson written in rock and ice. Everest teaches us about scale, preparation, and the force of collective will. K2 teaches us about focus, pure skill, and humility before nature. In the end, The crowds fade from view. What remains are the mountains themselves, eternal, silent, and indifferent to the legends we build around them. So what defines the greater achievement? Standing on the highest point or surviving the hardest climb? Let us know your answer in the comments. If you want more explorations of the extreme, be sure to subscribe. Next time, we investigate one of history's most bizarre